What if I told you that you could wake up surrounded by ice, spend the afternoon walking through a tropical forest, watch elephants cross an endless savanna, and fall asleep beside a desert before the day is over? No, this isn't 5 different countries. It's Kenya, a country where the landscape refuses to settle on just one identity. From the frozen heights of Mount Kenya to the warm waters of the Indian Ocean, Kenya stretches across an astonishing range of environments, and sometimes traveling from one part of the country to another feels less like crossing a border and more like stepping between different worlds. Our journey begins high above the clouds. Rising from the center of Kenya is Mount Kenya, an ancient volcanic giant whose highest peaks reach more than 5,000 meters above sea level. Up here, the air is thin, temperatures can plunge below freezing, and remnants of ancient glaciers cling to the mountain. Look around and you could almost forget you're standing in a country just a few degrees south of the equator. Below the icy peaks, however, the world begins to change. The temperature rises, vegetation thickens, mist drifts through the trees, and giant heathers and ancient forests cover the mountain slopes, creating a completely different environment just a few kilometers below. And then the descent continues. The cold disappears, the forest opens, and the land becomes warmer, wider, and drier. Suddenly, you're in the savannah. This is the Kenya that has become famous around the world. Endless grasslands stretching toward distant horizons, acacia trees standing alone against enormous skies, herds of zebra moving across the plains, giraffes rising above the grass like living watchtowers, and elephants crossing the landscape with the calm confidence of animals that have nowhere else they need to be. Here, the horizon seems almost too large. You can watch a storm forming dozens of kilometers away, see dust rising from a herd long before you hear them, and at sunset, watch the entire savannah turn gold, as if the landscape itself has caught fire. But just when you think you've figured Kenya out, the country changes again. Travel east toward the Indian Ocean and the dry grasslands give way to something completely different. Palm trees replace acacias, red earth gives way to white sand, and the smell of dust is replaced by salt carried on warm ocean winds. This is the Kenyan coast. Here, the Indian Ocean stretches endlessly toward the horizon, its turquoise waters meeting coral reefs, mangrove forests, fishing villages, and ancient coastal towns. Places like Lamu and Mombasa carry centuries of history in their streets, architecture, food, language, and traditions. And there is something almost magical about standing beside the ocean at sunset, knowing that the same country contains landscapes where temperatures can freeze at high altitude, and others where you can walk barefoot along a tropical beach. But Kenya isn't finished surprising us. Turn away from the coast and travel north. The green begins to disappear, the air becomes hotter, the landscape becomes quieter, and eventually, the grasslands give way to one of Kenya's most dramatic environments, the desert. In places like the Chalbi Desert, the landscape stretches into an enormous expanse of salt, rock, sand, and shimmering heat. There are moments when the horizon seems to disappear completely. The land looks empty, but it isn't. People have learned to live here, move here, trade here, and survive here for generations. Camels cross the desert carrying supplies and connecting communities separated by enormous distances. And then, somewhere beyond the desert, something extraordinary appears. Water. Lake Turkana. A vast blue-green lake rising from one of the driest regions of Kenya. It looks almost impossible. a giant body of water surrounded by volcanic mountains, barren plains, and desert landscapes. And suddenly you realize that Kenya doesn't simply have different environments, it has contradictions. A frozen mountain near the equator, a rainforest beside dry country, savanna filled with elephants, a tropical coastline, a desert with a giant lake, 5 worlds, 1 country. And perhaps the most fascinating part is that these landscapes aren't just beautiful. They shape the people who live among them. They determine what grows, where animals migrate, how communities move, what people eat, how they build their homes, and how they understand the land around them. The mountain creates its own climate, the forest captures water, the savanna feeds wildlife, the ocean connects Kenya to the wider world, and the desert teaches people how to survive with almost nothing. Kenya is far more than a safari destination. From freezing mountain peaks and misty forests to golden savannas, vast deserts, and warm tropical beaches, the country offers extraordinary contrasts. 5 worlds exist within one nation, each revealing a different side of Kenya.